Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. There's breaking news that we got to cover in the world of NFL coaching. But also, breaking news from Frankie from Flatbush headquarters. I got my old new laptop back from the repair shop, and we're giving it a shot. We're giving it a try. We're giving it a test run because I really want this laptop to work. So let's see if it holds up, and we'll see if this how this video comes out. But nonetheless, we got lots of news to break down in the world of NFL coaching, and a lot of it affects the New York Jets. So let's get right to it. Let's try to share a screen, shall we? See if this computer can do anything. Let's go to X, formerly known as Twitter, where it says, uh, right here, the Bears are out of the coaching market as they are finalizing a deal to hire Lions OC Ben Johnson, the BJ. Johnson picks Caleb Williams over Tom Brady. As I said on X, when the news came out that Tom Brady was trying to recruit Ben Johnson over to the Raiders, I was saying, does Ben Johnson know that Tom Brady's not the quarterback? He's the owner, because they don't really have a good quarterback situation with the Raiders. So he decides to go to Chicago. Now, Samini says this impacts the Jets because there was talk of a GM candidate slash former Lions exec Lance Newmark going with Johnson to Las Vegas. Now, the Jets can pair Newmark and Aaron Glenn if they so choose and if they beat out the Saints for Glenn. So, what are they talking about here? Connor Hughes also says with Ben Johnson going to the Bears, Robert Salah's chances of going to the Jaguars gig increase. He's very, very respected there, but they're also trying to get Liam Cohen. Here's BJ and KC Dub. So Caleb Williams is happy. He's got a good offensive coach. Now, here's the next tweet right here. Jets are scheduled to interview former Lions executive and current Commanders assistant GM Lance Newmark on Tuesday, that's tomorrow, for their general manager job. This will be Newmark's second GM interview with the Jets. So, an interesting thing is happening here. We've invited one head coach candidate and one GM candidate for second interviews. So, instead of having a list of a bunch of people we're going to have second interviews with, uh, we're having two guys who are connected come in and take second interviews on the same day. So it seems to me, we'll see what happens, but it seems to me we could get an announcement late tomorrow that we have our GM and we have our head coach. And it's Aaron Glenn and Lance Newmark if everything goes well. It seems like this is what the Jets are trying to do. They probably identified early in the process that Glenn was their man, but of course they couldn't move on him until he was out of the playoffs, which happened with the loss to the Commanders. And Lance Newmark has a connection to Glenn. Zach Rosenblatt says first, second round, Lance Newmark, Aaron Glenn pairing would make some sense. So here's Lance. Who is this Lance Newmark fella? Let's get rid of this thing over here. No. And we find out that, in fact, here he is, Lance Newmark. Okay, AGM for the Commanders, but he's only been there for 1 year. Lance Newmark enters his first season as AGM to the Commanders. Now the Commanders are having great success, as you know. Newmark reports directly to General Manager Adam Peters, oversees the personnel and scouting departments. But Newmark joins the Commanders with 28 years of NFL experience, 28 years, almost 3 decades in the NFL. So if we go for this guy, he'll be very seasoned, almost 30 years of NFL experience here, and 26 with the Detroit Leones. Held the role of senior director of player personnel for Detroit. So he basically helped with the turnaround, but also saw a lot of bad years. So, but he assisted Brad Holmes with the implementation of home scouting vision. So basically, we're basically, if we go with these two, and he also had some IT technology background, which is interesting, but he's mostly a scouting background. So this is not a analytics guy. This is not a capologist. We probably need to hire one of those to assist. I would think. I hope we don't stick with our own guys because we really need to look at how we do our contracts. But this is a scouting. This is the scouting route, which is your normal route of where you'd want your general manager to come from. Um, and so this would be perfectly fine. I don't think anybody's going to be jumping up and down about all this. And here's Aaron Glenn for those who don't know. If you look at Aaron Glenn, the biggest problem we have for him is, this doesn't go into all of his coaching experience, but if you look at it from over here, okay, so as a player, he had a long career over here. Oops. Um, and then he's been a coach for 11 years now. Started with the Cleveland Browns, then he was with the Saints under Sean Payton, and then he was been with the Lions. He was also an administrator of the Houston Stallions. Uh, they were an indoor football team, so he does have general manager experience, interestingly, and he was also a personnel scout with us. So Aaron Glenn brings a very interesting mix of skills and background to the position of head coach. And not only does he have 11 plus years as coaching experience, he has 15 years of playing experience under his belt with various teams. And he has he was a scout for a couple of years with us. And he was actually a general manager of the Houston Stallions of the indoor football team. So he's got, some administrative experience as well. So Glenn, to me, is an excellent candidate. Obviously, that's not breaking any news there. But the problem is that the Saints also want him. So he has a tie to the Saints. And this is a guy who's from Texas. So you can see here, you may not realize he's born in Humble. This is pronounced Humble, Texas. And that's just north of Houston. And then he went to high school in Houston, and then he went to college at Texas A&M. Okay, so Texas, and a lot of times these Southern guys they want to go back down south, and of course Louisiana is uh, right next to Texas, has shares a border. He also played for the Houston Texans, okay, and then played for the Saints 1 year. So seems like the Saints are our biggest um, competitor for his services. He's also being talked about with the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys also hold him in high regard. He played for the Cowboys, so the Jones family's aware of him, and also because of his Texas background, Texas A&M, and just being a Texas kid growing up. Um, so it seems to me like we're going to pursue a Glenn Newmark pairing, and we might even just say, let's get this done tomorrow and try to keep him from getting to New Orleans because it says here, Glenn's interview is going to be with the Jets tomorrow, which is Tuesday, January 21st. And then the Saints is going to be Wednesday. I would not let him out of the building. I would not. These both of these guys are coming in here, Newmark and Glenn. Let's just give them the jobs. It's fine. Like we're not going to find anybody better. Vrabel was the only other obvious choice that would be a home run grand slam pick. Everybody else on the lists has warts and things you can pick at and don't like or what have you. But if these two know each other, like each other, get along, they're in alignment, okay, let's get them signed up. We could get that announcement tomorrow that everything's signed, sealed, and delivered. GM, head coach, let's go. That's the way it could go. All right, let's see if this computer has held up for this video, and I'll see you next time, I guess, if I have a computer. Okay, later.